You're such an asshole.
AssholeConsulting.com, we have an interesting guy overpaid, and he's like, how much for an Clarey test on the Dalai Lama? 25 bucks as always. And I was like, I looked him up. Holy shit, I knew nothing of this guy except they keep referencing him. And he must have a huge Wikipedia fan base, because there are pages, tomes written about this guy, and in anal retentive detail, which is all very tremendously boring. So it took a while, even though it's a very simple, like the facts are actually quite simple about him to score, because it's almost inapplicable, because he's taken a vow of poverty, he's religious, he's a religious figurehead, and does not normally function and has no intention of running for politics, although he has been engaged in international political affairs. I don't know how apropos the Clarey test will be on the Dalai Lama, but let's go and click on it. His name is not Dalai Lama, of which many people are rolling their eyes, but I thought that was his name. His name is Tenzin Gyatso, and I hope I pronounced that right. The Dalai Lama is a title, and he was born in 1935. He's 81, and he became the Dalai Lama in 1940, so he became a Dalai Lama when he was 5. So we go through all this, and I don't want to read the literally pages of anal retentive detail about the Dalai Lama and what he came. But let's go over the 4-question test so that we can then put this in context and run the test on him. The Clarey test includes: do you come from rich parents? If you do, you get a point. That's bad. Did you major in something stupid? If you did, you get a point, and that's bad. Do you have any real-world private sector experience? If you do, that's good. You don't get a point. But if you don't, you get a point, and that's bad. And then, what are you currently doing now? And if you, the only way that you could say is like you're retired after a long, proud career as a colonel or whatever, then you don't get points. But if you're just I sit on the non-profit directory board, and now you get a point because you're a fucktard, and that's bad. So you want a score of 0. You do not want a score of 4. So, without going through a long Wikipedia entry here, the Dalai Lama, 14th, he came from poverty. He is one of 8 children, only 7 survived, and he was born on a straw mat. He did not come from wealth. So he gets 0 points there. That's good. What did he study? Well, here, because he's 81, he's so old, we have a little bit of an adjustment, because today, if you major in stupid shit, you're a fucking moron. But back in the olden days, if you majored in something, very few people went to college. Well, we can't, maybe it was worthwhile going and getting a degree in English. Maybe it was worthwhile studying the classics and history. That did show something, but that is moot because the guy never went to college. He just, at the age of 5, became the Dalai Lama because of reasons. And that's my knowledge of Buddhism. So he didn't go to college, period, which means he doesn't get a point for that. That's good, because it's much better that you never went to school than if you went to school for something stupid. The real hard part is applying the Clarey test to his career, because the guy has never worked like a real job. Now, some people would say, now wait, he was the Dalai Lama, was out of his control. Agreed. But being the figurehead of a quasi-religious movement, I don't know, religion, it's not, no, you're not slaving away at the salt mines. You're not assembling Fords. You're not studying accounting. And this has, and the drawback, or not the drawback, but in all intellectual honesty, it was completely out of his control. He was 5 years old when the world decided that, hey, you're going to be the 14th Dalai Lama. So this should have no negative reflection on, what's his name? Tenzin Gyatso, because he was born into fatism. I mean, a 5-year-old, hey, you're king. I am? All right. So he would get a point because he's never worked a real job, of which I know all the trials and I understand. And then what's he doing now? He's still doing it, but you can't give him a point because he's supposed to do it till he's dead, I guess, until whatever protocol comes along and says, hey, you're no longer the Dalai Lama. So he's still working in what he should be doing, which is what he's been told to do. Does he get a point? I can't give him a point. He does get a point because it's not a real job. It just isn't. It's all the people aside. Oh, you don't know what he. I know. He's a communist. He's gone out. He's a very, very, very old social justice warrior, as all people who are told what to do and never had independent thought always are. I'm what? I'm king? All right. Oh, wow. Feminism sounds good. Yeah, Marxism sounds great. How many millions killed? The Chinese hate my guts. They're communists. They're not really communists. So, it's almost like applying a test to a retarded kid. Not that it's just he's so incapacitated, comes from such an obscured, hindered background where there's no independence, agency, sentience, or thought. You can't really, this isn't a guy like, he's gonna, anywhere between 1 and 2, depending on what presumptions and how you want to apply the Clarey test. I would say 1 because I'm going to split it down the middle like, okay, look, you were condemned to work this worthless job, and what you're supposed to be doing, well, you're doing what you were supposed to do and what's morally right, so we're not going to give you a point. So he gets a point of 1. Would I like to have a beer with him? No, because I hate to say it, he's like your basic bitch religious person. I know he's the Dalai Lama, but what am I? He swallows whole. That's the one thing that stood out about him. He just swallows whole what society tells him. Well, I'm for Marxism. I'm for communism, and right there, it proves to me you haven't had any independent thought. You just. Oh, it sounds nice. That sounds nice. The Lord will provide. The Lord has a plan. Communism is great. I don't have time for rank amateur philosophers and not intellectually rigorous people. I don't have the time for intellectually rigorous people in my life. I need people that need to think independently. I need people that come up with their own opinion. Like if he was, every great once in a while, there's a rare communist or a socialist that's just like, I don't care about. I know that the 100 million people that killed, that's bad. I'm not advocating that at all. I just think as a human, we have a moral obligation to make sure we have equal outcomes. I've had less than 5, can count them on one hand, the number of genuine socialists and communists that have just said that. And those people, because they've had an actual, and they've displayed intellectual honesty. But this just sounds like he's 5. He has the same level of independent thinking as he did when he was 5. Why would I want to talk to this guy? What are we possibly going to talk about? Hey, how about them robes? Sure must be cold up there in the Himalayas. I don't care. This is not somebody. It would be the same thing as talking to the Pope. The Pope, you Catholics got yourself a nice little communist dressed in funny robes wearing a funny hat. I have no desire to talk to somebody that indoctrinated in 2 religions, communism and Catholicism. I just don't have. What are we going to possibly talk about that is going to intellectually stimulate an independent person's mind? What would they bring of new thought? What stimulation would they bring to a genuinely independent mind? They would immediately go look at their text or look at garlic cloves or whatever the hell the Dalai Lama does. I probably just insulted every Buddhist ever. Anyway, I'm sure he's a nice guy. I'm sure there's not an ounce of evil in the guy. I don't care. I think Stefan Molyneux he did one on Gandhi. I don't think he did one on he did one on Gandhi. He did not do one on the Dalai Lama, I'm pretty sure. But this is somebody, it'd be Snoresville. It'd be Snoresville for me. I would not want to go have a beer with this guy. So, if you guys got questions, go to assholeconsulting.com. If you want me to professionally administer the Clarey test, you may pick a character. We've had people picking fictional characters like Indiana Jones and Captain Kirk. Those are kind of cool. So, we'll see you guys later. Toodles.